In a world full of complex relationships, today's story will offer a deep perspective on love and betrayal, a love that seemed perfect. But behind the sweet promises lies dark secrets. Join us as we follow the journey of these characters as they face deceit, tough decisions, and the dark moments of the heart. This story will make you reflect on trust and the choices we make in love. If you enjoy this story, don't forget to like, subscribe, and leave a comment to let us know your thoughts. I never imagined that I would be the kind to write such a story, but here I am, sitting in my dark apartment, typing with shaking hands. Perhaps letting it all out will help me come to terms with what occurred, or perhaps it will only make things worse. In any case, nothing will happen. It all began when Tyler, my younger brother, came upon an odd Reddit topic. He was a 19-year-old night owl who was completely engrossed in intricate online mysteries. You know, the kind who reads about unsolved conspiracies or haunted websites till 3 in the morning. I should have taken more notice of his strange pastimes this time, but I never did. At the age of 26, I was barely making ends meet while working a dead-end job. Since Tyler wasn't very interested in college, it made sense that he continued to remain at home with our mother. He emailed me a link to a Reddit post one evening along with the following message: "This is something you must read, dude. It's crazy." I rolled my eyes and sighed, but I still clicked. It was a lengthy post, one of those spooky, painstakingly crafted ones that seemed too genuine to be true. The original poster asserted that they had found a website that shouldn't exist, buried deep within the internet. Although the specifics were hazy, they said that when you went there, odd things began to happen in your life. Individuals vanished. Time ceased to make sense. Even reality felt incorrect. Tyler became enamored. Me? Not at all. I informed him that it was most likely a sophisticated fake, one of those creepypasta pieces designed to frighten unsuspecting readers. Tyler, however, refused to let it go. He spent the entire night searching through outdated blogs, clicking on broken links, and putting the pieces of some sort of digital puzzle together. Then one evening, he informed me that he had located it. At 2:47 a.m., Tyler gave me a call. I grabbed blearily from my phone, hardly noticing that the screen was turning on in my apartment's darkness. His voice, breathless and seemingly panicked, gave me a rush of excitement the moment I responded. Whispering, "Dude, I found it," he said. "The webpage. It's true." I rubbed my face and sat up. Ty, what the devil? Nearly 3 in the morning has arrived. No, pay attention. I'm not kidding. This isn't just a stupid post. I gained access by following the hidden topics and links. However, his voice became unexpectedly shaky as he paused. Something is strange. I feel as though I shouldn't have clicked anything, but I'm not sure how to express it. I was quickly awakened by that. Tyler wasn't easily frightened. He adored urban tales, horror films, and other eerie online content. Now, though, he sounded as though he was struggling to keep his composure. I muttered, "Okay, slow down," as I swung my legs out of bed. "What exactly did you find?" A pause. "It's just a black screen," he said at last. I initially believed my browser had crashed. Then, one by one, these words emerged as if they were being typed in real time. Reaching for my laptop, I turned it on. What did it say? I was asked, "Do you want to continue?" Furthermore, there were just 2 buttons, yes and no. I scowled. "Please tell me you didn't click yes." One more pause. My stomach turned over. I did. With a sharp exhale, I combed through my hair. "Jesus, Tyler." "The words I know," he whispered. But pay attention, the page changed after I clicked. It displayed this strange, pixelated picture. I initially assumed it was just random static, but upon closer inspection, his voice trailed off. I think it was a face. A shiver ran down my back. A face? Yes. My screen then turned black. Like, all the way. The power button did not function either. My phone began to ring as soon as it did, and my bedroom light flickered. A tingle ran up the back of my neck. Who was calling? I have no idea. There was no number shown. Simply write unknown caller. When I first picked it up, it was simply static. Then I heard it though. Heard what? Tyler was having trouble breathing. My name was murmured. They were right next to my ear, not like a recording. I got up and paced. This must have been a complex joke. Tyler, you're messing with me, right? I swear to God, I'm not. His voice made my skin crawl for some reason. He was frightened, not simply afraid. Are you still at Mom's? I inquired. Yeah. Secure your door. Keep your hands off everything else. I'll be over. I snatched up my keys, put on a hoodie, and ran out the door. Even though I had no idea what my younger brother had gotten himself into, I had a terrible sense that it wasn't finished. Not even close. I was a crazy driver. The eerie glare of streetlights illuminated the deserted streets. I had 1,000 ideas running through my head, but none of them made sense. Tyler might have frightened himself. Perhaps this was merely a complex practical joke, but I knew better in my heart. Something didn't feel right. The lights were all on when I arrived at my mom's house. That wasn't typical. At night, she typically only had the porch light on. I rushed up the stairs and banged on the door, my pulse racing. No response. I pounded again, more forcefully. Ty, open up. Nothing has changed. I grabbed my phone to give him a call, but the door creaked open a few inches before I could do so. I can just make out the dimly lighted hallway inside. Tyler? Quiet. I got a lump in my throat. My flesh crawled at the sight of that partially open door. I shoved it open and entered. The air was a bit heavy. The house seemed to be holding its breath. Ty, where the hell are you? Then a voice, small, tremulous, came from upstairs. I'm here. I walked over to the stairs. With his face as white as death, Tyler stood at the top, gripping his phone. His voice was hushed. Did you see it? I scowled. See what? The man. A shiver went through my body. What man? Slowly I asked. Tyler took a deep breath. I kept hearing sounds outside my window after I hung up with you. I initially believed it to be the wind, but then I noticed him. My breath caught. Who? He gripped his phone more tightly. In the backyard, someone was standing. I was just standing there, staring at my window, doing nothing. My stomach dropped. Did you call Mom? She's working. I did not want to frighten her, but it wasn't normal, buddy. What do you mean? He paused, then drew in a slow, tremulous breath. He didn't have a face. Quiet. It was as though the room's air had been drawn out. What the hell are you talking about? Trying to speak steadily, I asked. He muttered, I don't know how else to explain it. Where his face should have been, there was a fuzzy shadow, similar to TV screen static. I felt cold all over. It must have been a joke. It must have been. But I couldn't help but notice the utter fear in Tyler's eyes. I made myself maintain my composure. Okay, let's check the backyard. No, he replied right away. I don't want to see it again. I nodded but swallowed hard. All right, then let's simply leave this place immediately. Tyler remained silent. His movements were rigid as he grasped his jacket, as if he was terrified to turn away from the stairs. As we walked out the front door, I watched every shadow. I had the unshakable feeling that we were being observed. As soon as we stepped onto the porch, I looked about, taking in the street, the yard, and the homes of my neighbors. Nothing. However, that did not imply that we were isolated. I mumbled, "Get in the car." Tyler didn't think twice. He slammed the door shut and virtually ran to the passenger seat. I shut the doors, followed him inside, and pulled out of the driveway. I looked in the rearview mirror as we drove off. I briefly noticed activity in the backyard before we rounded the corner. Standing there half hidden in the darkness was someone. Then, without warning, it vanished. For the first 10 minutes of the drive, we didn't talk. Tyler was leaned over in the passenger seat, clutching his phone tightly. A nervous tic he had had. Since we were children, his knee jumped nervously. Though my mind was racing, I managed to keep my eyes on the road. What on earth had we just witnessed? I wanted to think that the person standing in the yard was just a creep, perhaps a crazy neighbor, a coincidence perhaps. But I knew better in my heart. Where are we going? At last, Tyler mumbled. My place, I said. You're not staying alone tonight. He looked out the window and nodded. His pallid, wide-eyed reflection was visible to me in the glass. He appeared to be terrified of what might be staring back at him. He then abruptly said in a whisper, "It's still watching us." I felt a chill go through me. What? He avoided looking at me. I'm not sure how, but I know. It remains. It is pursuing us. I tightened my hold on the wheel while attempting to maintain a steady voice. Dude, you're just paranoid. That item was left behind at the residence. No, he whispered. We didn't. My arm hairs stood on end. I applied pressure on the gas pedal. In record time, we arrived at my apartment. I killed the engine, parked, and looked around the lot. Everything appeared to be typical. Under flickering lighting, there was nothing except a silent, deserted parking lot. However, I couldn't get rid of the sensation that something was simply hidden, observing, awaiting. I drew the shades, and we hurried inside, locking the door behind us. All right, I told myself. We're safe now. Tyler didn't seem persuaded, pulling his hood up as if it would protect him from whatever was outside. He fell into my couch. One hand swept through my hair. Tell me all you know, each and every aspect of their website. We might be able to find out what the hell is happening. After a moment of hesitation, Tyler took out his phone. As he scrolled, his fingers shook. It's gone, he muttered. I scowled. What do you mean it's gone? The article, the thread, all of the subreddit. It seems as though it never happened. A rush of chill swept over me. I took out my laptop and began looking. Nothing. No sign of the thread. No pages were preserved. There was no indication that it had ever existed. All right, tell me about your past. Logs from your browser? He looked. Nothing. As if he had never even been to the page before. I whispered, that's not possible. Tyler hardly raised his voice above a whisper. It doesn't want to be found. The space was oppressive. I got up and paced. What the heck? Let's act as if this never occurred. Tyler's face was blank as he gazed at me. It's not going to let us forget. I was about to dispute with him and tell him that he was only frightening himself when bang, a strong, jagged knock on my door. Both of us froze. With my heart pounding, I carefully turned my head. Bang, bang, bang. The door shook, the knock that wasn't just someone waiting to be let in graciously. The sort that indicated something was desired. My eyes met Tyler's. I already understood what he was thinking, so he didn't need to express it. We weren't by ourselves. We had never been by ourselves. Additionally, whatever was behind that door, it wasn't a human. The knocking ceased. The room was dense with unnatural silence. Neither Tyler nor I moved, we hardly breathed. It stung how fiercely my heart hammered. Bang. Once more, the door trembled. There was a problem. The knocks sounded unusual. They were too heavy and too slow, as if the person on the other side was testing the door rather than knocking. Sensing it, I slipped over to the peephole and signaled to Tyler to remain still. I placed my eye against the small glass circle, my pulse roaring in my ears. Nothing. There was nobody in the hallway outside my apartment. Nothing, no shadows, no footsteps. I let out a deep breath and took a step back. No one's there. Tyler took a deep breath. Check again. Despite my hesitation, I took another look. Still vacant. I looked back at Tyler. It's okay. Perhaps, bang. The knock was closer, louder this time. However, it hadn't come from the door this time. It originated within the flat. Tyler leaped from the sofa. No, 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 no. I turned and looked around the room. The kitchen. The corridor that leads to my bedroom. The shadowy areas when light was insufficient. I lived in a small flat. One could find no place to hide. We weren't alone, though. The atmosphere shifted. It was more substantial, heavier, as though the room itself were getting smaller and closer to us. Then a murmur, gentle, jumbled, directly behind me. I spun so quickly that I almost tripped. Nothing. Tyler shook his head and retreated against the wall. We ought not to have searched for it. We ought not to have clicked. Once more, the whisper came from the corridor. More volume, clearer. The voice wasn't mine, wasn't Tyler's. His name was said. Tyler. The lights wavered. A shadow moved, looming just at the edge of my bedroom doorway, unnaturally tall and slender, nor moving forward, nor turning back, simply observing. Tyler let out a choking sob. What do we do? Despite my mind's cries, I managed to make myself move. I took Tyler by the wrist and pulled him in the direction of the entrance. Anything was better than what was inside, so I stopped caring what was outside. We ran toward the stairs as soon as we were in the corridor. We were both afraid to turn around. My hands were shaking so much by the time we got to the parking lot that I fumbled with my keys. With heavy breath, Tyler continued to glance over his shoulder. "It's coming," he muttered. "I can feel it." When I eventually unlocked the car, we jumped in. Nothing came when I turned the key. No, no, no. Once more, I twisted it. The engine came to a stutter. I took a chance and looked back at my apartment as I slammed on the throttle. I also witnessed it, positioned within the window, observing our departure. A blurry, incorrect shape. A face that moved like static on a malfunctioning television set caught my attention. The lights in my flat then flickered off as we rounded the corner. Lost. Until the sun rose, we drove. Neither of us said anything. I chose not to return to my flat. I didn't make a police call. How could I possibly tell them? For a few nights, Tyler and I stayed at a motel while pretending not to be listening for door bangs or spooky whispering. We were trying to tell ourselves that we were safe, but we knew the truth in our hearts. It wasn't finished. Because days later, even today, Tyler frequently wakes up during the night. His phone is ringing, a number that is not real. His name is whispered by a voice. And right before dawn last night, I also heard it. From beyond the door of my motel, bang, bang, bang.